Keris Pascal, and 10-time Calypso monarch, the mighty Trotness. Other talented acts include Nairuki, Ronaldo London, Alana Simon, and Mano. Tickets cost $200 in the auditorium for adults and $120 for children. Tickets in the amphitheater cost $150 for adults and $100 for children. Tickets are available at WAC Coffee Street in San Fernando, Joshua Generation Academy on Moody Stewart Street in San Fernando, Santa's at Pointe-a-Pierre Road in San Fernando, and committee members. For more information, contact 349-3494, 275-6793, and 336-5441. The fundraising concert, A Taste of Excellence.
Have you heard? Cashpot players are living nice with their winnings.
I always wanted a fancy kitchen like in those cooking shows. Since I play Cashpot and win, now everything is stainless steel. And my fridge even have Wi-Fi too, yes?
You can hit the Cashpot jackpot too. Play Cashpot today. Available at all NLCB lottery centers. Players must be 18 years and over. Please play responsibly.
Better vision for your physical eyes, and through the eyes of faith, let healing arise in your mind, body, and spirit. At Natural Heal Ministries, we teach kingdom principles for living that brings the blessing of God to your mind, body, and soul.
NHM Professional Associates are located at number 10 Moody Stewart Street, Monrepos, San Fernando. For more info, contact Dr. Desmond Phillip at NHM on 349-3494.
NHM Professional Associates can be heard live on the street 919 FM every Saturday from 9:05 to 9:55 a.m.
Come talk with us.
Realest news, hard talk.
Real talk on the street 919 FM.
Pep Square. Like to hide in the dark to let the lips speak. Liquid supplement for them bird with a twisted and the chip beak. Hey, ha. Find the water's high. Hey, well, every time I show up, everything blow up, all of the rag and the flag them go up. Everything blow up, when we arrive, bad minds start show up. Everything blow up, all of the rags and the flag them go up. Everything blow up, all of the rag and the flag them. Boom, I defy the odds, just like the Crips just defy the Bloods. Like how the wind scream defy the bugs, like how the tall boats defy the mud, yeah. Them try stop me flow, so me do like Trino, and I rectify the clock. Wet me and put me in electric chair, but all they did was electrify the plugs. Watch me, them go hard, we go harder. I born for this, I'm the Luke Skywalker. There's no one in this business can go on like them are my father. Hey, why move with the red eye? Lightsaber axe is the Viking Jedi. Drive over them like a semi. Hey, 20,000 can rise against me like zombies on Juve morning. Hey, they can't stop the garland. They can't stop the garland long. My name is Persistence and you can't stop hurricane from forming. They can't stop the garland. I want in time I tell them. Hey, bad, light back the fire and burn them. Light back the fire and burn them. Hey, give me a vintage garland. Light back the fire and burn them. Light back the fire and burn them. Well, every time I show up, everything blow up. All of the rock and the flag them go up. Everything blow up. When we arrive, bad minds start show up. Everything blow up. All of the rock and the flag them go up. Everything blow up. All of the rock and the flag them. Boom. Welcome the vintage darling. No Game of Thrones, Peter Dinklage darling. I don't suffer from shrinkage darling. Clean to my skin, there's no inkish darling. Suit a black, not a pinkish darling.
Good morning. A pleasant good morning, Bruce.
Morning, Julie.
How are you this morning, Bruce? You did it? And how is the family?
Good.
Okay. So a pleasant good morning to you and a pleasant good morning to those on the outside. The time is 8:11 a.m. I am Julia Davy. You're listening to One Shot, One Kill, where talk has never been more deadly. Let me say a pleasant good morning as well to Sharon Felix and her young guest from Laventille, who I understand got a scholarship. Is it, Bruce? Yes. That's nice. Well done, young man. I didn't get an opportunity to hear the interview. I came in on the late half, and you all were trying to help him to raise some funds. That's nice. Well, I too will do my part as the time goes along. Of course, Sharon and Bruce will have to assist me where that is concerned. So, Bruce, it is Friday. Bruce, where's the Friday? Come on, and Brand. Bruce is sleeping or what? Big DJ like you? So, folks, it's Friday in Trinidad and Tobago. It was indeed a very long week this week with the announcement of the arrest of two UNC individuals, one being a former attorney general and the other a sitting senator. So it was a long week with talk and more talk. And of course, coming out of that, we saw charges being laid, I think 3 charges being laid against one Vincent Nelson QC, and he's charged with conspiracy in Annan corruption case, and he was granted $0.1 million bail. That's $100,000. Money I can do with, but coming out of that information, I have no doubt that that is easy money to pay, Bruce. Easy money to pay. $100,000. That will do me nice this morning. Anyway, folks, as we said, it's Friday. Bruce?
It's Friday!
That is what we're talking about. And you know, Fridays is Free Up Fridays. So we're freeing up today. It's the weekend. It's the start of the weekend. Cousin coming in already. And of course, from last week going forward, every Friday is going to be Fire Friday. So today is dubbed Fire Friday, and you're inside the street 919 FM.
Me and put me in electric chair, but all they did was electrify the plugs. Watch me, them go hard, we go harder. I born for this, I'm the Luke Skywalker.
In a short while, I'm going to open up the lines. Phone ringing, like I don't know what. In a short while, I'm going to open up the lines and allow you to have your say. You know, at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock, we will have the news items and I guess some advertisement coming up. So we'll try to see how much calls we can take in the first hour as we look to close off 1 shot, 1 kill for the week until next week, God's willing. And in the next hour, of course, you can ramage inside the street 919 FM. Good morning, Mommy Sauce.
Good morning, Major General. I finally know the Major General.
Oh gosh, thanks for reminding me.
I'm finally introducing yourself. This is Juliet. You forget it.
Major General Juliet. That's correct.
All right.
Thanks for reminding me.
We're looking for that Major General. Brucey.
Bruce.
Morning.
Morning, Director.
Director is not here. Bruce is director right now.
All right. Let me say morning to everybody who locked on to the program this morning. A blessed morning to everybody. To all the men in my life, they know how I love them. So let me say morning to them, all of them, every one of them. I want you there.
Thank you, Mommy Sauce. I had to take that call. But before I continue the calls, you know we must say our daily word. So, Heavenly Father, this morning, thank you again for bringing me here safely, for bringing Bruce here safely, for bringing Sharon here safely. Sharon was late this morning. I guess she had a little family issues. So, hopefully, Father Lord Jesus, during the course of the day, she will be able to get some much needed rest. I can see her eyes very tired and sleepy. So hopefully, Father Lord Jesus, she would be able to get that rest today. Because, Father, you know it's difficult. And coming here, even when I was with Sharon, Father, the hours were different. I still have a little extra time now to get a little hours sleep more. And Paul, I'm seeing you, but you will have to call back. And it's still difficult for me to wake up from my bed. You know, so I can only imagine Sharon, and I'm saying to myself sometimes, Father, that we take things for granted in this country. And one of the things that we take for granted is that our politicians are very hardworking. And from my own experience, my short experience coming here, I can appreciate more our politicians because it's not easy. Juggling your career, your family life, your social life, and then you will have probably other activities like I do, Sharon does. It's very difficult, your schedule, it's really, you know, you have to be real disciplined to keep your schedule in check. Or if you're not very disciplined, you would have to have a personal assistant to help you and to remind you, because somewhere along the line you would forget because of that hectic schedule. Mine has become extremely hectic. You wouldn't believe it, but so Father Lord Jesus, I thank you. And I thank you for all the persons who commit of their time, like the politicians and the priests and the pastors. The politicians, the priests, the pastors, the social workers, the teachers. You know, we take these things for granted. So, you know, Father Lord, I thank you for those persons. Too often we go by and we just behave lackadaisical and we really forget to say thanks, not just to you but to our fellow men. So this morning, Father Lord Jesus, on behalf of those persons, I lift your name on high, Father. Your name is worthy to be praised. There is no other God that I serve besides you. So I thank you again this morning. With that being said, it's Friday and it's Fire Friday.
Light back the fire and burn them. Light back the fire and burn them. Hey, give me a vintage.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, dear.
Manu, good morning to you.
Yes. Morning, dear Mr. Bruce. Bruce, when you see us 2 men that you will on the day, is here.
No, let me, Manu, let me tell you that I forgot my headset home, so Bruce lent me his, so he's unable to hear you.
Okay, right.
Okay, but you can still convey your mornings because the energy will come through.
Good morning to all the lovely listeners. There's Manny Sauce, good morning to you. Dylan, morning to you. Patrick Street, Jackie, morning to you. Sporting, morning to you. I missed out somebody there. In that good day. Patrick Street, morning, everybody. Morning, Showerman, morning to you. Olga, from all the whole, Yeman and her husband. Love to everybody. When you contribute something to the young man.
Correct.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
One drop by one drop, there's full of buckets. It does not have to be no huge amount. But if, well, in terms of finances, but if we have huge numbers in terms of persons contributing, it will come up even more. Good morning, Paul.
Hello, good morning to you, Juliet.
Good morning
to everyone at the studio. Juliet, you know what I feel proud about? This young man who has gained, in terms of his success, you know,
education.
That's correct, in terms of his education. And I can see, though, a lot of people cast Pelstone at Laventillians, and I'm proud to be a Laventillian this morning. You know, so I'm hoping that all the funds are being raised towards his education and success. So congrats, bro.
Yes, thank you, Paul.
You're most welcome.
And keep it locked to the Street 919.
You're welcome.
You're welcome too. Well, of course, he won't be the only one, because only recently there were 3 of them who graduated from the University of the West Indies, but this one got a scholarship, and that's really nice. Really, really nice, and good news in the midst of a really terrible week in Trinidad and Tobago. Good news indeed. So, let's get the ball rolling.
Fire and burn them now. Give we a vintage garland. Light back your fire and burn them. Light back your fire and burn them now.
We must reject this notion of corruption as a way of doing business, as a way of life. Corruption erodes the foundation of our institutions. And there's a price to be paid by every single one of us. We must reject this notion of corruption as a way of doing business, as a way of life. Corruption erodes the foundation of our institutions. And there's a price to be paid by every single one of us.
Well, folks, as I said, it's the end of the week. Well, work week, that is. Saturday being the last day. And as you are aware, in our country, we have come to a stage where coming out of 2010, when you would have used your moral compass to remove Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the People's Partnership Government from office, and you would have been informed by then opposition leader Dr. Rowley, questions about massive corruption in this country under the People's Partnership Government. In some cases, persons walking out of our treasury with $36 million. Taxpayers' dollars, that is. Let me tell you, it is a sad day indeed that 4 years later, and I'm saying 4 years because the election would have been in September, and if we would add the extra 3 months and 14 days that Kamla Prasad Bisesa took for herself to remain in office, in terms of nearest tens or hundreds or however you want to put it, it would bring us to 4 years. So So after 4 years, and let me say, those of you listening, if you want to view me live, you can go to One Shot One Kill 919 FM live stream on YouTube. Thank you, Bruce. You can tune in and see my pretty black face. Yes, so anyway, after 4 years, notwithstanding that during the 5 years, 3 months and 14 days, under this megalomaniac they call Kamla Prasad Bissesa, corruption, as it were, through the extension of the Piarco airport corruption, rear its head through Section 34. You would think that these people have a heart, have a conscience, but they don't. The chronological events, that is the UNC, regardless of its leader, and I dare say that Kamla Prasad Bissesa is the icing on the UNC's cake in terms of her failed leadership. As I continue to say, and I will continue to say as long as I'm sitting here, she is a woman scorned. And I can say that on the virtue of her losing every election since after 2010. She would have won the general election with the assistance of Jack Warner and the COP. So she is a product, not of herself, but from the Monster Inc. company that is run and owned by Jack Warner. Juxtapose that to our leader. Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley. You can say what you want about him. He's a Rottweiler. And so what? We have come to love Rottweilers and dogs as man's best friend. And we can pretend to ourselves that we have a problem with Dr. Rowley's attitude. But one of the things that we had loved Dr. Rowley for was because he had a very, very big back as a member of the Manning cabinet. But we cannot and we must not deny that Dr. Rowley is one of our successful leaders, if not the chief. Let me repeat that. Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley is one of our successful leaders, if not the main He's a successful father, having raised beautiful children, his 2 last daughters, being well educated. He's a successful grandfather, I will have to say. His 2 daughters are now married. I know that one of his sons, his eldest, is married as well. He's a successful or proud husband of Sharon Rowley. And Dr. Rowley, as a geologist, have been very successful as well. You go all up the Caribbean and you ask, he's advised as a geologist, a consultant, has been well sought. He's a successful politician. But the thing I like about Dr. Rowley, and it's not just me liking it, but the facts, is that he has remained steadfast in his principles. Let me repeat it. Dr. Rowley has remained very steadfast with regards to his principles. And that is what makes him stand out as a leader in this country in the 21st century. He's a leader who is telling you he's not in love with office. So you know definitely that he's not there to fill his pockets. This is a prime minister who says to you that I'm closing Petrotrin because it is in the best interests of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And he stands proud that he was making the right decision. And today we are seeing where there are profits coming from the new structure that is Petrotrin. So when you put Kamla Prasad Bissessa and you put the Prime Minister, Dr. Rowley, juxtapose them. Chalk and cheese. Chalk and cheese. So let me tell you, let me justify what I've said to you about Dr. Rowley's steadfastness and about the events that has occurred with respect to the arrest of two UNC members, so to speak, a former Attorney General and a sitting UNC senator. Let me read briefly for you.
Corruption erodes the foundation. We must reject this notion of corruption as a way of doing business, as a way of life. Corruption erodes the foundation of our institutions. And there's a price to be paid by every single one of us. We must reject this notion of corruption as a way of doing business, as a way of life. Corruption erodes the foundation of our institutions. And there's a price to be paid by every single